Hi, I'm Mark Kalis, Principal Product Manager with Amazon S3. Today I'm going to be discussing ways you can analyze and take action on your S3 storage usage and activity. We have a full agenda for today's session where I'm going to be sharing details about a new Analytics and Insights feature that recently launched, and I'll discuss some background information about customer needs that led to the creation of this feature. I'll explain how it fits in the broader landscape of S3 Analytics and Insights capabilities, and then I'll break down how the new feature works, including a demo of the interface and some example use cases. Let's go ahead and get started. In our extensive conversations with customers about how they analyze their storage usage, we primarily encounter two key points of feedback. First is the need for improved visibility. Customers told us that as they manage ever-increasing storage volumes across tens to hundreds of accounts and buckets in multiple regions, it becomes more and more important that they maintain visibility into their storage. These customers wanted a quick and simple way to see how much storage, usage, and activity they have at a glance and in a consolidated view without having to do heavy lifting to aggregate log files and inventory reports. Second is the need for recommendations to optimize their storage. Some customers told us that having metrics alone is not enough, and they would like us to provide directional pointers for how to use the metrics to improve their storage and generally to make full use of S3's capabilities. So based on these two needs, we set out to develop a new S3 Analytics and Insights feature. This new feature is called S3 Storage Lens. It joins S3 Inventory and S3 Storage Class Analysis in our suite of S3 Analytics and Insights tools to help customers analyze and take action on their storage. If you're not already familiar with S3 Inventory, it's a feature that can be enabled for any bucket that results in a daily report of each object in the bucket and includes 16 points of metadata, like the version, the last modified date, and the storage class. This continues to be a great feature for you if you want to conduct an object-level analysis of your storage. If you're not already aware of S3 Storage Class Analysis, it's a feature that can be enabled for any S3 bucket to monitor the usage patterns on that bucket over 30 days, resulting in a recommendation to assist in creating the optimal lifecycle rule for that bucket. This continues to be a useful feature if you need a deep analysis of access patterns and object age within any bucket. And now, with the introduction of S3 Storage Lens to this feature set, we have a solution for gaining a broad view of your storage across your entire organization or account, as well as zooming in to more granular levels, like storage class, bucket, or even prefix level. So as compared to inventory and storage class analysis, Storage Lens is a more holistic and all-encompassing view, and oftentimes it can help you flag a particular part of your storage to investigate in greater depth using one of these other features at the bucket level. Allow me to walk you through a quick overview of S3 Storage Lens. First of all, Storage Lens consists of a large number of usage and activity metrics, 29 in total, and even more if you count the derived metrics. I'll get into the specific list of metrics later in the presentation, but I want to call out that many of these metrics are brand new and have never before been shared by S3. And others have been provided before, but never at the granularity available in Storage Lens now. This leads me to my next point, which is the aggregation levels. S3 Storage Lens provides aggregation from the highest level of AWS organizations down to the very granular level of prefix. Because the metrics are pre-aggregated at these various levels, it allows you to easily perform drill downs and analyze your storage without waiting for long computation times to display the results. Third, the metrics are available on a daily basis. Think of it like a daily snapshot for you to see how much usage and activity you had for the previous day. So the latest information available in Storage Lens is generally the previous day through roughly midnight. Fourth is data retention. You will have up to 15 months of historical data available in Storage Lens, enabling you to view long-term trends or even to time hop back to a particular day. This can be really useful if you're trying to debug an issue that occurred on a specific day in the past. Fifth is the centerpiece of Storage Lens, which is our highly visual interactive dashboard, which is embedded in the S3 console. It can be used to slice and dice and drill down, perform various standard dashboard interactions. I'll play a demo of this dashboard later in the presentation. And by the way, if you're not interested in using the dashboard, we also have the option to receive an export in CSV or Parquet format, which can be sent daily to an S3 bucket in your account. And finally, The recommendations are the icing on the cake, as they provide an interpretation of the metrics to help you flag outlier data points or to take action against a particular metric. Now let's take a quick tour of how S3 Storage Lens works. To start, we've aimed to make the configuration of Storage Lens easy and frictionless, but also to provide a high degree of flexibility. For ease of use, we've enabled Storage Lens so that all customers receive a default dashboard configuration at the account level. For most customers, this is the only dashboard you'll need, and you can edit that configuration if you would like to add the metrics export options or upgrade it to access the advanced metrics tier. For those of you looking for a cross-account view, you have the option to configure your dashboard using AWS organizations to create a view of all member accounts in your org. And we have also included the delegated administrator support so that you need not necessarily be using the management account to create one of these org level views. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're looking to scope your dashboard more narrowly, you have the option to select specific buckets or AWS regions. In total, you can create up to 50 individual dashboards, and this can be really useful if you're interested in setting up different dashboard views for each team in your organization. Once configured, S3 Storage Lens will perform a nightly aggregation of your storage usage and activity, and it's important to note that Storage Lens only relies on internal S3 data and does not involve scanning of your actual buckets, and therefore it does not have any impact on your application performance. For analyzing your daily metrics, Storage Lens includes interactive dashboards in the console, and the dashboard is designed to just work right out of the box. You don't have to fuss around building charts and graphs yourself. We've done the work for you to create the necessary analytics to find out how your storage is working at various levels. The dashboard contains 6 different tabs, and the sections are organized by use cases like data protection and cost efficiency to allow you to easily find relevant metrics and perform these tasks. The metrics presented in the dashboard can help you better understand your storage, including summary insights like what is my fastest growing bucket or prefix, or how much total storage do I have across my organization. Storage Lens provides callouts for outlier data points based on 30-day trends so that you can investigate any unexpected fluctuations in your storage usage or activity. And lastly, the dashboard provides contextual recommendations alongside your metrics to indicate actions you can take based on the metrics. For example, ways to improve cost efficiency or apply data protection best practices. Let's take a deeper look into the specific metrics provided in S3 Storage Lens. With such a large number of metrics, there's a lot of information at your fingertips. So we've grouped the metrics into 4 main categories: summary, cost efficiency, data protection, and activity. And these are aligned to the sorts of analyses you are likely to run using Storage Lens. And more broadly speaking, these metrics fall into 2 overall metrics types: usage metrics, which describe the volume and type of storage, and activity metrics, which describe the requests and other events related to the storage. You can read over the list of metrics here on screen. Note that some of the metrics on the list are pretty typical, like total storage and object counts, and you can already receive these in a few places in the S3 console and in CloudWatch. But in Storage Lens, you can now receive these metrics in aggregate across your organization or account, or at the prefix level, which was not previously possible. On this list, there are some other metrics you might not expect, like metrics that pertain to S3 feature utilization. For example, we can break out the percentage of objects that are using encryption, or the number of objects that are non-current versions. These metrics help you understand how your storage is configured and allows you to identify discrepancies and then drill in for details. We talk about the concept of drill down a lot in Storage Lens, and the reason is because it's set up to report on 6 aggregation levels. Because the data is pre-aggregated at the various levels, it means customers can drill down using the interactive dashboard to move from one level to the next, upward or downward, or even across levels. The core levels available in the dashboard are account, region, storage class, and bucket. And then we have 2 optional levels, which are AWS organization at the highest level and by prefix at the most granular level. If you're not familiar with prefixes in S3, These are essentially like the subfolders inside your buckets, and then that you can use to further organize and group objects within each bucket. In storage lens, during the dashboard setup, you have flexibility to configure your prefix aggregation to show the largest of your prefixes in storage lens, or you can go wider and show even the smaller prefixes, as long as they make up at least 1% of the storage in the bucket. Another call out on prefix aggregation is that it is only provided at this time for usage metrics, and it is not yet supported for activity metrics. Now, to help you get a sense of how this works, I'm going to play a short demo video of Storage Lens.
An S3 Storage Lens dashboard is automatically created for every customer account. You have the option to customize the default dashboard by upgrading to receive advanced metrics and recommendations, as well as enabling metrics export. You can also create additional custom dashboard views, including one for your entire AWS organization, specific regions, or buckets. The Storage Lens interactive dashboard shows a snapshot of your storage through the previous day, and you have the option to view up to 15 months of history. At a glance, you can view your most critical storage summary metrics or browse by category to see additional metrics related to cost efficiency, data protection, and activity use cases. With over 30 metrics, you can select a primary and secondary metric for deeper analysis. You can adjust the dashboard trend from a default view of 30 days to a longer time frame. Here, you can see a breakdown of your usage by storage class or by region. The top N module shows the top accounts, regions, buckets, and prefixes. By default, it shows the top 3 items, but you can adjust this to show up to 25 items. The S3 Storage Lens includes several different features to efficiently navigate the dashboard and to quickly home in on the insights you need. Select any value displayed in a chart to see additional info, and apply a drill down to repaint the entire dashboard with a filter on that value. Alternatively, you can choose the Analyze by option and select a dimension, allowing you to move to a new page of the dashboard to analyze this value by a new dimension for more granular insights. Several different data visualizations are available, including bubble analysis, which allows you to see the relationship between 3 different metrics. Recommendations are displayed alongside metrics to emphasize outlier data points or to indicate opportunities to reduce costs or apply data protection best practices. From here, you can choose to access documentation or to take action in the console.
With over 29 metrics on your storage usage and activity, there's a broad range of use cases for S3 Storage Lens to help you understand and optimize your storage. Let's discuss 4 key use cases. First is Summary Insights, which are top-level learnings about how much your storage has increased over your entire org over the last 90 days, or what are my fastest-growing buckets or prefixes. Having quick access to these kinds of summary metrics allows you to stay informed about your storage, even as the number of accounts and buckets grow into the hundreds or even thousands. Second is Outlier Detection, which are call-outs for unusual upward or downward spikes based on a statistical evaluation of your data over the last 30 days. By identifying anomalies in your storage, it enables you to drill in for deeper understanding and conduct root cause analysis. Third is the data protection use case, where you can apply metrics to identify data protection best practices, such as making use of S3 capabilities like encryption or object lock. And the fourth and final use case is cost efficiency, where you can surface insights that may point you to potential storage cost reductions, such as identifying infrequently accessed buckets, or the accumulation of non-current versions, or incomplete multi-part uploads, just to name a few. Now let's dive in for some specific example use cases. The first example is Summary Insights. Imagine a scenario where you're a storage administrator, and you get a call from your CTO asking you about the status of a project underway to archive additional storage to Amazon S3 Glacier. He's asking you to get back to him in an hour with some specifics on how many terabytes of storage have moved over to Glacier. To answer this question, you'd simply open up Storage Lens, click into your organization level dashboard, and midway down the dashboard is a nice visual showing you any metrics by storage class. So here you can see that you've so far moved over 20 terabytes of data to Glacier. You can then send over the answer to your CTO and move on with your day. So this is just one of hundreds of examples where Storage Lens can enable you to get a quick answer about your storage that previously would have taken a fair amount of time and effort to get. Next, let's talk about the outlier use case. An outlier is any data point that is unusually high or low compared to what is normal. It's often a challenge with any analytics tool to know if a metric is a true outlier, and it's easy to run into the trap of thinking that any spike is a problem, only to find out later that it's just a typical fluctuation. So what we've done with Storage Lens is to use a statistical calculation that looks at the last 30 days of your data to determine if it's a true statistical anomaly. If it is, we'll add that as a callout on the dashboard to bring it to your attention. The calculation that we're using here is called a standard score, or some call it a z-score, and we use this to determine if a metric falls outside of the 95% normal distribution of your historical data. Now that the outlier is called out, you can use the dashboard to analyze further and drill in to see the source of the increase or decrease. Data protection is one of the most important use cases of Storage Lens. Many customers have told us that they need better visibility into their security posture. AWS offers other tools like Access Analyzer and Macie, and each contain useful functionality to understand how your S3 buckets are being accessed. The data protection angle we are taking in Storage Lens is slightly different. Here we're applying usage metrics to help you understand what portion of your storage is applying particular S3 data protection features, like encryption, versioning, replication, and object lock. We can show you a count of the objects, the sum of the stored bytes, or even a percentage of the total bytes for where any of these settings is or is not applied. This enables you to quickly scan all of your storage in your account or in your organization to see if it's in compliance with your own data protection policies. What we are showing here in this example is a recommendation for using encryption, because in this case, you only have 44% of the storage bytes that have S3 encryption enabled. From here, you can click into the Learn More link there on the screen and read up on S3's encryption options. And then you can set forth on enabling encryption for the remaining storage. Now let's take the example of the cost efficiency use case. The interactive dashboard in Storage Lens provides a range of useful visualizations to identify cost optimization opportunities. One of my favorites here is the bubble chart analysis, shown here, which plots each of your buckets on an X and Y axis. In this particular example, I have total storage on the X-axis, I have the retrieval rate metric on the Y-axis, and then the average object size is represented by the size of each bubble. So this chart is indicating that buckets falling below the horizontal center line have a pretty low retrieval rate, and any buckets in the lower quadrants with higher average object sizes are typically going to be good candidates to move into this intelligent tiering storage class. This type of chart is great for getting visibility into particular buckets that may require deeper investigation, and then you can use S3 analytics and insights tools such as inventory or storage class analysis to dive into the next level of depth before you reach a final conclusion. So I'll circle back now to the metrics export, which is a really important part of S3 Storage Lens, and we should not let this be overshadowed by the dashboard. Many of our key customers are really interested in the metric export because they're planning to use the data to ingest into their in-house analytics environment, where they can visualize the data within their own tools, or even to use other AWS services like Athena or Redshift. To use the metrics export option, you simply have to go in and edit an existing dashboard configuration and then enable this option. When doing so, you just select a destination bucket, then you decide if you want to encrypt the data or not, and then you select either CSV or Parquet file format. The layout of the file is shown here on the screen, and you can find this information in the storage class documentation, in the Storage Lens documentation as well. Storage Lens offers a two-tier pricing model. First is the free metrics tier, which is available to all customers by default, and it provides 15 usage metrics aggregated down to the bucket level with a 14-day data retention period. And then you have the option to upgrade to access the advanced metrics tier, which includes the addition of activity metrics at the bucket level, usage metrics at the prefix level, and you have contextual recommendations in the dashboard, along with a data retention period extended to 15 months. You make the metrics tier selection on a per dashboard level, so you have the flexibility, for example, to create some dashboards with free metrics, some with advanced metrics. But note that advanced tier pricing is charged per dashboard, so any duplicated storage across your dashboards is going to be billed separately. The rate card for advanced metrics is 20 cents per million objects per month per dashboard. And so a customer with 50 million objects being monitored in a single dashboard for the month would pay just $10. It's highly likely that most, if not all, customers using Storage Lens will end up using it to generate cost savings many times greater than whatever they pay for using this feature. So now I'll wrap up with a brief recap on the key points from today's presentation. First, Storage Lens is available now to all customers, and we've automatically pre-configured a dashboard for you to use. You can literally go in right now and start using it. You can also configure additional dashboards, and I highly recommend the org level dashboard if you're using AWS organizations. Also, don't forget there are 2 pricing tiers. There's the advanced tier if you need prefix level insights or if you need activity metrics. The interactive dashboard is a great way to become intimately familiar with your storage, and make sure to check out the action, drill down menu, and analyze by feature. Make sure you set up the permissions for anyone in your company to access the dashboard, and don't forget to turn on the export option if you need it. Now go ahead and start using the data and the key use cases for reducing storage costs and applying data protection best practices, or discovering anomalies, or of course, gathering together summary insights. That concludes our presentation for today. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about S3 Storage Lens. Please reach out to your AWS account team for any questions or feedback, and refer to AWS website for more information.